Welcome to my world. Well, these aren't very Roman, are they? But this is, and this is as well. What I have on right now is a toga. A toga is a sign of, from the last section of, that a male is a citizen if they're wearing a toga. And this is a leaf that fell off one of my houseplants. But there was also a thing that were called laurel leaves that the aristocrats wore to symbolize their wealth. Monday, March 16th. Hope you all did your homework on reading section 3 of chapter 12. Section 3 is called Roman Society. Right now, take a minute and key term patriarchal society, pater familias, villa, and established religion. Go. Good. All right. I want you to copy down. First note, I want you to copy this down after your key terms, of course. Copy this down. Like other ancient societies, Rome was divided by gender and by class. Sounds kind of familiar. So if we're talking about gender, okay, men certainly ran all of the daily lives of the family, okay? They had this thing called a patriarchal society, which you've already key termed, and that means that the men basically ruled the family. What the male said kind of went, and everyone sort of followed suit. Wife, children, dog, so on and so forth. So men, and then also there was this idea of pater familia, which is the oldest man of the Roman family, or the head of the household. He owned, I'm reading from the book, he owned all the family's property. In theory, the father had absolute unlimited power. Notice the term pater, okay? Pater, P-A-T-E-R, is a Latin word for father. Familia, father of the family. Familia would be Latin for family. But the pater noster is translated as certainly a phrase you use and heard a lot. It means our father. Pater, father, noster is Latin for our. Prayer, our Father prayer. All right, moving right along. Women, okay, they had some freedom. Okay, males were certainly dominated. Okay, women had some freedom, but their primary responsibility was to bear and raise children. All right, moving right along. Rich and poor. Okay. Look at that first line on page 377. I want you to copy it down. Most Romans were poor, free people, or slaves. A tiny minority were wealthy. Copy that down. Pause it, whatever you need to do. Good. So, the main job for most Romans was agriculture, all right, or equals farming. The wealthy owned. Wealthy owned. The average / poor, guess what they did? They worked. They worked the land. And if you think about the Italian peninsula, it's long, and it's nice weather, and it's hot, and it's good for growing. Wine, Good for growing olive oil. It's good for growing crops, grain, stuff like that. Make bread. A very fertile, good place to make food. Common people. Life was different for most common people. Okay, got that. So flip the page over. Flip the page over. Next, page 378 says slavery. Okay, slavery was very common in ancient Rome. I'm reading that first paragraph. Okay, as Rome became rich and more powerful, Romans bought or captured increasing numbers of slaves. What is this number? I hope you all have this. What does this number mean to you? 40%. Look in your books and figure it out. You got it. Okay? 40% of people in Rome by the year 1 BC were slaves. It's a lot of enslaved, lack of free people. Okay, and the living conditions, I'm going to read on page 378. Look at it. For most Roman history, slaves had no rights. They were bought and sold as property. They could be beaten or killed by their masters for any reasons. Children born to slaves were also slaves. These slaves often died quickly due to brutal treatment. It sounds pretty tough. Slavery goes back almost, I would say, to the first civilizations. And it certainly was a big thing for Rome and allowed for Roman success and what they finally farmed and built and indentured labor, indentured meaning forced labor. All right, but there was an instance. I'm going to post a video about this guy. He's pretty, he's been written about. He's pretty famous throughout the ages. His name was Spartacus. He was a slave. Write this down to find who he was. Who was he? Look in your books on page 178. You'll find it there. He's a slave who rebelled, led a rebellion around 70 BC, and he defeated a lot of he fought the Roman army and threatened to capture Rome before the Romans finally got to him. Pretty remarkable character who was able to rally a lot of his fellow slaves and revolted against the leadership of their farm and took it further and recruited a slave army. And it says, threatened to capture all of Rome. It's kind of an impressive guy. Check out the video that should be linked right under this video that you can learn more about Spartacus. Roman religion, okay? It's similar to Greek religion. How? So let me just say this. Roman religion, we talked about this last week. A lot of their gods and their customs and everything came from the Greek, write this down, it came from Greek or Etruscan tradition. If you look on page 379, so write that down. Roman religion a lot of them came from the Greeks, Greek influence. Look at page 379. You see Jupiter was the king of the Roman gods. He ruled the sky with the sky and thunder. Okay, so Jupiter would be the equivalent of that would be Zeus. So put that down. Why not? Okay. So Jupiter is Roman. Zeus is Greek. Next, Juno was the wife of Jupiter. She was the goddess of marriage and family. The equivalent of that would be Hera. Hera. Put that down. And Minerva, the daughter of Jupiter, she was the goddess of wisdom and war. I want you to figure out her Greek equivalent and put it down into the comments under the video, please. Last but not least, I want you all to do right now. Now? No. Right now. Do the reading check on page 79. 379. Reading check on page 379. And that'll do it for section 12.3. Hope you guys are doing well. I miss you guys, and I'll see you next time. See you tomorrow.